Hello and welcome. We are back with Final Drive Sim Racing. We are at Zolder this week, and sorry, I just have to press a few buttons there to get the camera working properly. Welcome, Bullen F2 here. I'm joined as always in the comms box by Dougie. We're missing Aaron this week, but we'll forgive him. Dougie will be giving us some insight as we go through the races. We are, as I said, at Zolder circuit, so just a little track map there for you to show you the layout of the circuit, the challenging circuit that the guys will be going around today in these GT3 cars. Just moving over to Dougie. Welcome, Dougie.
Evening, how are we?
We're good, we're good. Hope you're good yourself. And
Too bad.
yeah, so Zolder circuit you've driven in the past yourself?
Yeah, just once or twice, not too familiar, but I've driven it once or twice. I've enjoyed it when I have driven it. So
yeah, good circuit, I think, and challenging, difficult to overtake. I think a good friend of mine called it a giant go-kart circuit once. It's just one of those tracks where it's not the easiest, but one I quite enjoy, to be fair. Challenging, especially with the three chicanes that are in place, but good fun.
definitely. Can I interrupt you quickly, Mike, before we properly start? You've not shared your screen with me.
Oh,
So I can't currently see.
that would help, wouldn't it? So, thank you for bringing that up.
There we go, perfect. I can see now.
Problem is, I can't see you now.
Oh dear.
I can only see the actual stream, but never mind. I don't know why it's done that. It's turned you off and put my stream on. Sorry about that, folks. This is all live, and we're making mistakes as we go. But there we go. So if I turn that one off, there we go. At least that stopped the duplication. So you can still see that, Dougie, yeah?
Yeah, I can see it now, yeah.
Awesome. Yes, anyway, so we are in qualifying. So we're waiting for these guys to come around now and set their first lap times. So we are, as you can see by the race calendar, at Zolder this week. And we are at race 3. This is a sprint week, so we've got a 35-minute race 1 and 20
and 25. 25 or 20?
35 race 1 and 20 race 2.
Yeah, that's it.
So with a hot lap qualifying session in between the two races to set the grid for race 2. So qualifying is 15 minutes for this first session, and just taking a quick look at the table, which has been updated after last week's racing. So we had a double victory in round 1 at Silverstone for Adam Foster. He struggled a little bit last week around where were we? Imola, wasn't it? And he only picked up a further 13 points from that. Tonks up into second, Forte Galanos in third, and Wesley, who picked up a great victory last week, has got himself up into 4th position. So BMW's all at the front, and then at the moment Ash Humphreys kind of the best of the rest regarding the rest of the grid as it stands in the front placed McLaren at this time. So let's get into the racing. So these guys are just setting their lap times, and that's the first lap time we've had so far. They're from Tonks, which is a 129. I've been told in practice the guys were doing 128, which is a pretty rapid time around here. So let's see if we can find a driver who's about to start their lap and not halfway through one. So looks like Mr. Humphreys is not too far away from starting the lap. He's just coming down to the final chicane. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump on board with him. And Dougie, if you don't mind, you can take us through a lap of Zolder.
Yes, with pleasure. So coming around the final corner here, onto the straight, and we're going to start hopefully a fast lap. Don't want to put commentator's curse on it. Here we go. So up into 5th, when we've got a sharp left here, down into 2nd, trying to carry that bit of speed out to the green. Back over to the left. Took it into the apex, let it run wide, trying to carry that speed again, and took it back towards the apex again, and back out. Hard on the brakes, down into 3rd, let the car run through the corner, back out wide again, up into 4th, and slowly drifting over to the right for a left-hander here. Down all the way to 2nd for this chicane, into 1st, up on the power, straight up the curb, up into 3rd, sweeping left, brakes all the way down into 1st for the next chicane, keeping it tight, and we've got a bit of a right-hander here. And we're up into 3rd, up back onto the power, all the way up into 4th, over the crest, and then onto the brakes, all the way down into 1st for this hairpin, and then we're back onto the power, up into 3rd, and we're onto the straight, trying to get the foot flat to the floor, get as much speed up as possible. Then we're into the left-hander, car on the track there, and we're onto the right-hander, we're onto the start-finish straight, back on the power, all the way up into 3rd, up into 4th, my camera just changed as the session ended.
But there we go. So a 129 flat there from Ash Humphreys. Cracking bit of analysis there from Dougie, showing us around the circuit. So thank you for that. It's good to get an insight of what the drivers are going through. You know, granted, it's sim racing, it's not real, but you know, most of these guys got some serious equipment at home to make it as realistic as possible. You know, we're talking triple screens, we're talking proper wheels and pedals, and you know, proper Fanatec gear. It's you know, long gone are the days of Gran Turismo and control pads for these guys. So it's really interesting to see from their perspective how it looks. So let's just have a quick look of where we are on the timing sheets.
We've got 6 minutes left of qualifying now, I just spotted.
Yeah, so just popping back to the garage, sorry, a little bit fiddly with this thing. Just want to have a quick look at the timing sheet. So yeah, Tonks currently fastest with a 128.5, which is a rapid time around here. I'm no slouch in these cars, I'm not bragging or nothing, but even around here I'm a 130 flat. I mean, that's a lap time, that is. And his fellow countryman, Wesley, Michael Birkuis, is 0.027 behind, so 2.5 hundredths of a second. I mean, that's nothing in these cars, really, is it, Luke?
No, nothing at all. You're on a bumper. If it was in front and behind each other, it's on a bumper. Nothing between that.
That is absolutely rapid, but a good lap time in comparison, I guess, for Ash Humphreys. If you compare his lap times and pace from the earlier races, he seems to be more on the pace of Adam Foster this week, so that's a bit of a move forward from him.
This is what you predicted, I suppose, isn't it, Mark? He's find his pace back so slowly as he's also been out of sim racing, you mentioned.
I'm a genius, mate. I know my stuff, so what can I say? I'm a legend in the making. All good, all good. No, to be fair, I do expect him to get stronger, but those BMWs are very, very fast. So it'll be interesting to see how much the car will have an impact on people's finishing positions as the season goes on. So let's just move on to his brother and teammate Damien Humphreys, also in the McLaren. He's currently in 7th, 2 seconds off the pace at the moment. Struggling a little bit this season for practice time, I know, due to personal circumstances, but still turns up and completes the races, and that takes some commitment when you haven't got that practice time. It's difficult when you don't have that seat time, you know, leading into a race, particularly with an intense game like this. Do you think, Dougie?
Definitely, I know myself, even when we're doing obviously in the touring car league we mentioned last week, I don't have time to practice, and even then, it's just about you need good practice for that. But for this game, it's a totally different breed, and you do need good practice time. And without practice, you can't keep up with the pace of the front runners. But as you said, sometimes personal circumstances prevent that from happening.
Yeah, and it's an intense sim. ACC. It's very, very demanding. The physics engine is I've caught a mistake off him again. He's going to kill me for that. we'll just quickly flick to Scott Balsillie, who's doing a stellar job in that BMW. Seems to be finding his confidence and his rhythm. But yes, as I was saying, this is a different animal in terms of the physics engine due to the realism of it. So you've got to be absolutely on it. Whereas, excuse me, other sims such as Race Room and even iRacing to an extent, you can afford the odd mistake and it won't kill you, whereas this will absolutely finish you off. So it is a tricky old so-and-so, that is for sure. But still out in first place here at Zolder. So then we've got Suresh. I don't believe we've had Suresh in the race in the previous ones. I think he's got a bad internet connection, judging by the way that car was moving around the screen there. Not looking the most stable of internet. Oh, is he warming his tyres? Ah, that's what he's doing. It looked unnatural, if you sort of see what I mean.
It was gliding, wasn't it? Yeah, it was gliding rather than turning.
Yeah, so yeah, I thought it was an internet thing, but no, apparently he's warming his tyres, so I take that back. But new driver, Suresh, so I don't really have any data on him, unfortunately, in terms of where we're expecting him to be. But be interesting to see how he gets on, and we'll keep an eye on him throughout the race. So currently second place man Wesley is just on an outlap, I believe, and we'll be keeping a close eye on him. He did have a little bit of luck last week, made the pit stops work for him. There won't be any pit stops this week, so he won't have that luxury. Yeah, but he made the pit stops work for him last week, didn't he? Particularly in that centre section of the race.
He did. The pit stops last week were amazing. Added some real good drama to the racing. It was excellent last week. Really enjoyed it.
I think it does just add that bit of jeopardy, particularly with the manual pit stops on these as well. You have to control it yourself. It's not automated like on other games, so if you miss your pit box by a metre, that's going to cost you 5 seconds while they wheel the car back into place. So it's adds that bit of jeopardy to it for the guys. So yeah, we've got Mr. D Weavers next in the McLaren number 23. I always get him and Clenneth mixed up because they run in the same livery, which makes it extra confusing for me. So please, one of you get a bright green or bright orange car of some sort so I can tell you apart. That would be great. Or just put some numbers or colours or something on there. I've got a fully black car, so I'm not judging because I do absolutely love a clean black car. But yeah, when it's racing, it's difficult to tell the difference between you guys. Adam Foster is right behind him. He's currently in 4th still, and not really. No, he was 3rd, wasn't he? So now down to 4th. As you can see, Weaver's getting out of the way of him there in the background.
Well, we've only got 10 seconds left, so let's see who can make it count, I suppose.
Excuse me, sorry. Got a tickle in my throat.
There you go. The sessions, I think it's just coming to an end now.
Yeah, so the way it works on ACC is anybody who is on a lap will be given the opportunity to finish it.
Ah, right, that's different to Race Room, because Race Room just cuts you.
It does. Race Room just cuts you off right mid-lap. The amount of times I've been 0.6 of a second up and had the rug pulled from under me, I can't tell you this season, but no, that's all from Mr. Ingle. He's had enough. Mr. Shepherd's still going around in his very nicely, brightly coloured McLaren. And no, he's abandoned as well. Clenneth in the pits. A good 6th place from Clenneth. He's doing a stellar job actually around here, and that's a good lap time for him. So yeah, there we are. So Ash Humphreys actually leapfrogging. Oh no, well, according to that, oh, Adam Foster suddenly first. Sorry, I was really confused then. Adam must have got a lap in, and he's got himself up into first. I didn't see that. Good lap from him.
It was a very good lap, that surprised me.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm still recovering from my choking session. I'm just going to go and grab a drink of water because I don't think this is going to go away. So just give me just a moment. Sorry about this, guys. I just need to go and grab a water and I will be back.
So while Mike's getting a drink of water, I'll take you through the starting list. So we've got Foster on pole. In second, we've got Tonks. In third, we've got Berkius. And then in fourth, we've got Ash. And then fifth, Basili. Sixth is Cleniff. And then seventh, we've got Humphreys, which is Ash's brother, I believe. And then we've got eighth, Ingle. 9 is Stevens. 10 is Suresh, who's obviously, as we mentioned before, is new. And we've got Weavers in 11th. And in 12th, we've got Shepherd. And 13th in Prescott rounding out the order.
Right, sorry about that, I'm back. So thank you for taking us through that, Dougie. So we are just waiting for the drivers to do their usual prep now, fueling, and little final setup tweaks, making sure that they select their race setup, not their quali setup, because otherwise they're going to do about 3 laps and it will be game over. Which we have had before. It does happen, unfortunately, where drivers forget to change their setup and run out of fuel after about 3 laps. So, yeah, what are your hopes for the race? I guess, Luke, what are you looking for? A different prospect to the endurance race we saw last week for the drivers.
Definitely, I'm expecting some really close battling this week, I suppose. I think for obviously the people who were slightly slower last week, I think they can really try and gain some points here because you've only got a shorter race. So if you can get a good start and try and hunt some places down, I feel like you could earn some good points for good people who particularly struggle in endurance races or lack some pace over the distance.
Yeah, I think it's a different prospect, isn't it? In that in the endurance race, if you make a mistake, it can ruin your race, and then it's all over. But at the same time, you've got an hour to make it back if it happens early enough. Whereas these races, if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world because you've got another race in 20 minutes time, but you haven't got the time to make those spaces back if you do make a mistake. So it can be vital to be as accurate as possible, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's make or break, I suppose.
Absolutely. So there will be a warm-up lap as per usual, and we will get back to it. So just heading back over to the racing. Sorry. Sorry, my asthma's playing up now because I had that little coughing fit. So apologies for the coughing and lack of breath, guys. It's not normal, I promise. Just had a slight asthma attack in the middle of a stream, just for fun. Why not, innit? Okay, who's your money on then, Dougie? Who are we going to go for? Who's going to be? Let's go for 2 predictions. I want your winner and your best of the rest.
Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna go. Not someone you think. I think Ash could do really well this time because obviously we said he's picking up the pace. I think he could go for it if he's in 4th here. I think he could really go for it and try and not necessarily go for a win, but I think if his mistakes up ahead, he would certainly capitalise on the mistakes. And then best of the rest. Who've got to pick from best of the rest?
I would say anybody outside the normal top 4. So we're talking Damien Humphreys, Scott Balseely, Cleniff Boa.
I think Cleniff could do well actually.
Yeah, okay.
Cleniff, because I've seen Cleniff put in the chat, he was hoping to go faster, so he clearly thinks he's got more pace than he's currently performing at.
Okay, that'll be interesting to see what these guys can manage then. I'm just pulling up the telemetry to see if I can get a little bit more data on what's happening, and keep an eye on things from that side as well. So
Go on then, Mike. I'll return a question to you. What's your 2 predictions?
Okay, so winner, I'm going to go for Bart. I think Adam pulled a lap out of the bag there, but from what I saw in practice and quali, I think Bart Tonks in second there had more consistent pace. So I feel like Adam's nailed the perfect lap for that pole.
Yeah.
But I'm not convinced he's got the pace to do that for 35 minutes. He's very good, and don't get me wrong, we saw that at Silverstone. I'm not doubting his credentials. Just at this track, it's not a favourite of his, and I suspect he might struggle during sections of this race. Best of the rest for me, I'm going to go for... And best of the rest I class as anybody who's not on the podium, so I'm going to go for Scott Balsillie to be best of the rest. And both of those predictions will be massively wrong, I can promise you.
See, I went for Ash because I think, I don't know, I feel like it could be a bit of a incident at the start. I think it could be capitalised on, or maybe something like that. I'm predicting a bit of carnage.
Let's see. We are almost at that time, so we are green. We are go. It's foot flat on the floor and down we go to the first corner. Let's keep an eye on things. We're going to go up to the helicam so we can see as much as possible through these first couple of corners, and it looks like they've all got through nice and cleanly. No major challenges going into the first few corners. Everybody keeping it nice and clean. Clenneth has managed to get himself up into 5th, I notice. Dom Ingle losing a place or 2. Scott also losing a couple of places. And then you've got Stevens then in the one and only Aston Martin, followed by Damien Humphreys. Don't worry about the timing screen on the left going a bit crazy. It always does that. Oh, a couple of moves, looks like, going into the first chicane, and it looks like they've all got through pretty cleanly, but a couple have had to back out there, particularly Humphreys had to back out. He had to avoid an accident, basically, but they're still going wheel to wheel into the... Oh, he's got his braking wrong. And, that was... Shepherd, sorry, yes, I was trying to find him, and that was Shepherd. He got his braking wrong, and just made contact there. It happens, unfortunately, doesn't it, Doug?
It does indeed. It's, I suppose, a bit of excitement trying to make that move, but I don't think he's going for a move. I think it's just a bit of misjudgment, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think with all the turbulent air, you run around in quali, you run around in practice. You're on your own. You've got all the downforce in the world, and not that these cars have F1 levels of downforce. But it just makes such a difference with that little bit less downforce, and all of a sudden you're in the back of someone. So
it always feels worse. I hate missing my braking point, and it's even worse when you've caused someone else an issue with it. Yeah,
it is such a shame, and I know Damien's been the victim in the first few races a couple of times as well, which has been a shame for him. So I know he'll find that frustrating, but hopefully he picks himself up now, ready for race 2. That's the beauty of having 2 races, I guess. So here we are. Still your leader in this first race is Adam, but Bart Tonks is not letting him get away. Wesley just holding on to him. Pretty close then between Ash Humphreys and Dominic Ingle in the McLaren and Bentley respectively. The McLaren then of Clenneth Boa currently in 6th place. Oh, he's made a mistake. He almost collected Balsillie there, and Stevens and Balsillie managed to get around without making contact with Clenneth. Oh, he'll be furious with himself. Prescott and Weavers have also made their way through, and so has S. Suresh, our new driver for today, sitting there in 10th at the moment, keeping his nose nice and clean. Humphreys is in the pits. I don't know if that's a retirement or if something's gone wrong, but Shepherd, the guy who made contact with him, Humphreys has disappeared off the timing screen, so I think it's a full-on retirement, unfortunately. Too much damage to recover from, which is a huge shame.
This is what we were talking about before. As we said before, we've got unfortunately, you can go wrong in race 1, but at least you've got the second race to go up.
Yeah, oh no, he's come back up again now. He disappeared off the
Is he
timing
back?
screens,
Yeah.
but he's back there again now. So he is in the pits, but he had disappeared off the screen, but he's there now. Shame for him, but yeah, he was kind of just a passenger in that accident. Nothing he could do. So we are just on lap 3 now. We've completed 2, and still the status quo at the front at the moment. Oh, we've missed. Dom has got past Ash Humphreys. Sorry, apologies, we've missed that on the stream. So I'm just looking to see the gaps, and yeah, just keeping an eye on the gaps to see where the battles are. So this is about the closest thing on track at the moment. Sorry we missed Dom getting past, but this front 5 are pretty close together still, and plenty of time for moves to be made. So we've got, what, 30 minutes left? So we're 5 minutes into this first race tonight before the second sprint race takes place a little bit later on. So race pace so far 29.1. I mean, with half an hour's worth of fuel, that's pretty damn quick from Bart Tonks, putting real pressure on Adam Foster up front.
I think people will start getting settled in now into the race a bit now. You know, the first 5 minutes is over.
Yeah, absolutely. People will start getting into their groove now, just try and find their pace, and you just try and make it to the end, really, not try not to make any mistakes, and yeah, not get into any silly business, I guess, really. Keeping an eye on these two here. They're pretty close together, Suresh and Prescott. Prescott has got some pace, but it's got the tendency to make the odd mistake from what we saw in the endurance race, Doug.
Definitely, yeah. It's just trying to keep that consistency, which is key in these short races, because it's hard to recover places, especially in a shorter space of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only one who's chosen the Mercedes. I'm not sure if he's a Mercedes fan, but we certainly are a fan of that very bright livery.
Makes it easier to identify.
You can see him 5 miles off, that's for damn sure. I mean, we're in Belgium and they can see him in Holland, so it's it's pretty damn bright, that's for sure. But yeah, 3-way battle. Scott Balsillie down in 8th for some reason, I'm noticing. I'm not sure, so he must have had an off.
I think it could be a move on here.
Yep.
There we go, moves on.
Looks like he's making the move down into the chicane. He gets up the inside. Nice room left by Prescott, nice and clean. But Balsillie goes a little wide. Oh, I thought Prescott was going to try the cut back there, but Balsillie with a nice clean move and gets himself back up into 8th position. So yeah, there's been some incidents and some offs, I think, because Suresh and Prescott were like 10th and 11th, weren't they? And all of a sudden,
Yes, I think Suresh was 10th, I think.
yeah, so he's up in 7th now, so in a bit of a gap then up to Dan Stevens in the Aston Martin. So oh dear!
Oh, it's Ash.
Yeah, good hit, well held. Bart's down to 4th. So I tell you what, whenever we try to look at some other action, somebody else is doing something else. This is why we don't switch. We stick with the action is. Yeah, so Bart's clearly made a mistake because he's now down to 4th, and he's got a little bit of damage on that front end. So I'm not sure if he's made contact with someone or if he's just made a mistake. Unfortunately, we haven't caught that, so we'll check later on with the other drivers when we speak to them and see if we can get the lowdown on what happened there. But go for it, mate.
I was going to say, didn't you predict for Bart to be a winner?
Are you trying to say I cursed?
What are you trying to say, sorry?
Are you trying to say I cursed him?
I was going to say so, because I also cursed Ash, as we just seen Ash had a bit of a slip up, and we both cursed now 4 drivers. So this isn't going well for them 4.
It's really not, is it? Yeah. Commentator curse strikes again. It is a real thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just what people say. But yeah, that has pretty much given Mr. Adam Foster a bit of breathing space in the early parts of this race. So he is now pretty much 2.5 seconds, sorry, ahead of Wes, who's Mr. P. Lewis has benefited from that and got himself from 4th up into 2nd. Dominic Ingle has made good progress now in the Bentley and is up into third position. And then Bart, who was challenging for the lead the last time we were on the action with these guys, is now down in fourth position, which I'm sure he will be disappointed with. Ash, then, who was in touch with these guys before, as we joined him the last time, we saw him snaking around coming out of that first chicane. And well held, to be fair, but yeah, that cost him about 4 or 5 seconds going through there. Dan Stevens then currently sits in 6th place in the one and only Aston Martin on track. Suresh is now down to 8th according to this, and Balseely 7th, but I'm not sure if they've switched around actually. Yeah, it looks like Suresh, even though he's shown as 8th, is actually ahead of Balseely, which should update now when they cross the timing lines. So we'll keep a little eye on these two BMWs. I'm not sure if they're teammates, but they're in the same livery.
I was just about to say the same thing, and ask if we're teammates or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They aren't running a teams championship as such in the same way that other leagues do, but they certainly are sharing a livery. Perhaps they'll be running a teams championship later on another time. But good battle between these two, it looks like, brewing. Balseely more pace than his position shows. I think he's been sort of a consistent 5th, 6th sort of place driver in the previous races, so he's definitely got a bit of progress in him, that's for sure.
Definitely, I seem to remember him having a bit more pace than this last week, I think, from memory.
Where's the best place for him to make a move, do you think? Into the chicanes or into the final corner?
I always like making moves into the chicanes personally, because it's just that slight bit slower, so you can control the move a bit more, I think.
Yeah, I think you kind of force the driver have to back. I'm sorry, I can't get my words out. You force the opposite driver to have to back out of it as well because of the nature of the chicanes. So it gives you that little bit of extra impetus as you go through it as well. But
definitely, and we've seen that before. Just make a move on into the braking zone, up inside, and the other driver has to give the room.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's not exactly flying past him at the moment, is he? Another lap gone by, he's still behind his fellow BMW. This is the first time we've seen Suresh, so we don't know, what his relative pace is. Qualified in 9th, I think it was. But he's made some progress due to other people making mistakes, etc.
Up inside.
He's got to move up the inside. You can see Suresh just run a little bit wide there. I think that's cost him. Balseely manages to get up into 7th position, so he didn't wait too much longer before making that move stick. Yeah, taking advantage of a little mistake there from Suresh.
Suresh looks good for his first time out, though. He looks confident and composed, I suppose.
Yeah, he's yeah, there's definitely some. I've just noticed his car was floating around again, so he's definitely got some internet issues because it doesn't look natural, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
It's just the way he's driving, so it's yeah, he's got some internet issues, which is why it looks kind of funny at times.
Yeah, it's kind of floats or hovers slightly.
Yeah, exactly. So we got Prescott then in the one and only brightly coloured Mercedes. He's currently in 9th. I'm very pleased to say that Damien Humphreys has made it back out on track and is competing despite needing to make that very long pit stop. So kudos to him, because that's not an easy thing to do when your head's gone down after a big accident like that, is it, Doug?
No, definitely not. Especially when you start going to pits, just thinking about where you could be racing right now.
Yeah, I mean, when you're challenging for 6th or 7th and then all of a sudden you're last and you're in a gravel trap and you need to pit for fresh tyres and you've got damage, and it's not only have you lost half a minute being stuck in the gravel trap, you lose another minute in the pits because you wouldn't normally even have a standard pit stop in a sprint race like this. So doubly frustrating for the drivers when that happens, I guess.
Definitely, and having to drag the car around the rest of the lap while damaged.
Yeah, exactly. So Prescott then, doing quite well this week. He seems to have a bit more consistency. He struggled in the endurance race, I would say. Fared okay at Silverstone, but he's definitely a marked improvement from Prescott this week, and he looks good for that 9th place so far.
I'm noticing on that chicane there, people are really, not necessarily cutting because it might be within the track limits, but really going over the curb on the exit of the chicane.
Yeah, you can really attack it. Some of them you can really attack on here, and the track limits on this as well is very fair in the way that it works. If you don't physically gain time, it doesn't punish you. It only punishes you if you actually gain time. So that's it's a very, very good and realistic and fair system.
It's a really good mechanic, to be fair.
Yeah, it's just keeping an eye on Kenneth Bower here. He'll be very, very disappointed, I think. He qualified quite well. Did he qualify 6th, I think, didn't he?
It was around that area, yeah.
Yeah, and that, you know, he was doing well. Yeah, you can see Scott's true place there. Sorry, just noticed Scott Balsillie. He's just done a 29.6, so that's his true pace. So he's definitely got the pace of the front guys. But Kenneth, yeah, currently in 10th, and yeah, I'm sure he'll be bitterly disappointed because he made that big mistake, didn't he, on the second lap, which really, really cost him. Then Damo, we've talked about Damo enough. I'm sure he doesn't want all that to be dragged out much longer. So then we've got Shepherd in last. He's the guy who made contact, and no, sorry, not last. Sorry, 11th in that pretty bad McLaren, and then Weavers is in 12th position at the moment. And yeah, you just got to keep it clean, I guess. You know, if you haven't got the pace, as long as you finish the race, other people will make mistakes, and you'll pick up points. You know.
I suppose if you go back to your saying it's not winning that counts, it's taking part.
Yeah, exactly. But no, at the end of the day, these leagues couldn't happen without drivers of all abilities and speeds, and so you know, it doesn't matter if you're fast or slow, as long as you come along, you take part, and you enjoy yourself. That's all that matters. So, just noticing. Sorry to talk over you there. Just noticing. Wes has really got that gap down to Adam. I don't know if Adam's made a mistake. I suspect with the gap back, as Dominic Ingalls made another mistake as well, because he's down to 5th again now, with Ash up to 4th. But Bart has closed the gap as well, so No, Bart was about that far behind. Sorry, folks. It's sometimes hard to keep track of gaps and things, but Bart was about that far behind, so I don't think Adam's made a mistake so much as Wesley Beerkus has just suddenly found some pace and really closed that gap down to Adam Foster, because the other cars are still about as far behind as they were. And we did say pre-race, didn't we? We didn't know if Adam was going to have the pace over the race that he had in quali, so could be a move on here.
You can see the gap is dramatically dropping. It's now half second, and it was a second, 3 or 4 corners ago.
Yeah, so he's gained half a second in that lap. So I wonder if Adam is struggling for pace now, struggling for the consistency. I mean, that pace he put in quali was absolutely rapid, but I did say at the time, didn't I? Didn't know if he had that in him for 35 minutes worth of racing. So
and the added pressure of being first as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's not easy when you've got a very fast car breathing down your neck. That is for sure. A little mistake there from him as well. A little kick up of dust. Will we see Wes try to make a move? He's a little bit too far back at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, I think when he catches and he's close enough, I reckon it'll be into a chicane. That's my prediction.
So the gap shown is 0.4 through the last timing screen. I mean, he's got Wes in second has got the benefit of being able to follow him, copy his lines if they're better, or use different lines if they're not. You know,
we are at the halfway mark. Still a way to go.
He's got that luxury, hasn't he, to run his own race behind Adam and try and force a mistake.
Definitely. Are we able to hop on board with Wes and see what it looks like from his point of view?
Yeah, we certainly can. That is not a problem, my friend, because I am race director. So here we go.
There we go. So you can kind of see what Wes is seeing and how close he really is from his perspective.
Yeah. So the gap is hovering around that half-second mark. It's not really growing, or
I wonder where he's making this time up. Is he braking slightly later?
So he was 0.8 of a second slower on that lap than the previous lap. So I think it's clear that Adam is holding him up.
Oh, was that a bit of a mistake from Adam there?
Yeah, it looks like it was, but he's managed to hold on to it. And this is one of the things with a circuit like this is it just doesn't always allow overtaking because it's so narrow.
I think we could see a move very soon.
He's certainly letting him know he's there, isn't he?
Definitely. I think
Oh, it's a mistake. It's a mistake.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just as I was saying it.
So he would have been pinged for that for gaining, that's for sure, but it'll just be a warning at this point.
Is that a back marker there in front of Adam as well?
I think it is, yeah, that'll be Weavers, so we'll keep an eye on that because we saw last week in the endurance race the back markers had a huge influence on the outcome of the race with the accident with Dominic Ingle and
was it Shepherd?
no, and it was Galanos, wasn't it? And
yes, sorry,
yeah, Galanos and Ingle who got caught up with Shepherd, who was the back marker at the time. So let's hope it doesn't come down to that. I'm sure they've all been briefed rigorously on blue flag etiquette.
Definitely, I did see a message within where because issue was sorted personally rather than any sanctions taking place, which is always good to see.
Yeah, which is it is nice. And I just noticed actually Galanos is missing. I don't know. He was in the practice session. It's just occurred to me. Sorry, Galanos is missing. So I don't know if he had a connection issue. I've only just noticed his name was missing, but yeah, I'm not quite sure what.
Yeah, Weaver's got straight out of the way there.
Yeah, and that's what you like to see. You know, as I suspect Shepherd last week just didn't know he wasn't racing them. If you understand what I mean.
I think so. I think it's just seen a car and gone, I need to defend.
Yeah. So
oh dear, Weaver's around.
Yeah, little mistake there. It's not easy, and I do have real sympathy for these guys. And the reason I'm in a com box is because I found it really difficult to be consistent on this game without the practice time. So I do feel for these guys battling around at the back and making mistakes. It's not an easy sim to master. So. Please do not judge people who are spinning around and make mistakes because it is not easy, particularly on ACC, is it?
Definitely not, no. As we say, well, as much as we may comment, we don't mean it in a derogatory way.
Not at all. Like I say, I fully sympathise with them and understand how difficult and frustrating it is. So I'm sure they will get better as the season goes on. So once again. Wes faster than Adam Foster, but he's not able to find a way past, is he?
I was just about to say, should we have a look through, but he'll make a move just as we move on.
we'll just have a little browse and keep an eye on it, just in case there's any other battles going on. But all the drivers pretty much in 130 flats now in these top 5, so none of them making any inroads into each other. So we've got 13 minutes of racing left, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8.
I'm just
9
seeing
laps.
here, Basili. Sorry.
No, go. No, I was just
I was
saying
just
about
seeing
9 laps
Basili
left.
looks like he's battling with Stevens slightly. He's catching him in about half second.
Good shout, and he's just making a move on the same part of the track that he got past Suresh earlier, and he's up and past him. So he seems to like that third corner, doesn't he? As an overtaking opportunity. He's made that work twice now, so fair play to him.
I'm just watching. I'm just on Basili's stream watching him make a move there. Yeah, straight up the inside.
Nice little move from the BMW guy, who is quicker than his position shows. I wonder if he'll have the pace in the last 12 minutes to catch up to the back of the top 5. We shall see. So Clenneth is our next guy. He's currently in 8th. I tell you what, we didn't cover Bart. Currently 3rd, not really making any progress into those top 2. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on him. But after having a lot of pace in the early few laps, he seems to have really backed off now. But he does have damage on that front end, by the looks of it. Ash Humphreys 3 seconds behind him. That was a much bigger gap, so that is coming down. We'll keep an eye on that. And then Dom in the Bentley another 2.5 odd seconds back. So we'll keep an eye on those gaps and try to catch any battles as they come towards us. Then we've got the 6th and 7th guys we've just been through. Clenneth up to 8th now, and he's over.
Did I just see?
Yeah,
did I just see Adam's gone to 2nd? I'm not sure whether we've missed a move.
Don't tell me we've missed a move. Oh, for God's sake, yes, and he has. See what happens when you leave the action. It's all your fault, Dougie.
It's all my fault. I shouldn't have said anything.
Another move. He's going up the inside, and he forces him wide. No contact was made. It's borderline. It was aggressive, but he made it work, and no contact was made. And I'd say just enough racing room was left, but normal order is resumed, and Adam is back out in front of BQS. Who is now back down to 2nd. Sorry we missed the first move, but we are trying to give everyone as much coverage as we possibly
Adam's done me a favour. It's not my mistake anymore. We're back to normal.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I suspect this might go on for the last 10 minutes between these two, because Wesley's definitely quicker, but as soon as he got out in front, he made a mistake, and Adam was able to capitalise on that. So let's just have a quick browse. So we were just getting down to Suresh, who managed to get up to 7th, but now back down to 9th, so has made a few mistakes. But his first race of the season tied, so can be forgiven for being a little rusty. And then Prescott in 10th as it stands. You've got Weavers in 11th. We've seen him make a little mistake earlier, struggling for consistency. But as we said, you know, this is not easy. And these guys will only get better as the season goes on. So let's get back to that battle for the front and for the lead position.
This is where we've seen position swap back before.
Yeah,
I think was it the same corner?
It was the same corner, yeah, but Wesley not quite as ambitious through that corner as Adam was on the previous lap. So
it was a great move, hard but fair.
Yeah, it was fair. Racing room was left. It was aggressive, but it was not dirty. I guess is what I was trying to say. So all in all, good stuff. Yeah. So they're lapping pretty much exactly the same times now, aren't they? So
yeah. Be interesting to see who actually comes out on top here.
Yeah, they got 9 minutes to go, so that's going to be.
How much pressure do you feel at the front end, Mike? Because I know you've been at the front 3 times. How much pressure is it when you've got someone hunting you down like that?
Yeah, you try not to think about it, but you can't help yourself. You know, it's it doesn't matter what you're driving, whether it be a Formula car or a GT or a touring car. When you're out in front, you've got someone chasing you down. You do feel it, but you've got the advantage of having the clean air, and they've got to adjust to your braking points and everything else, not to make contact and everything else. So you do feel the pressure, but you've also got a bit of an advantage. But sometimes when they're just outright quicker than you, it's really, really difficult. So we've got a drive-through for Tonks, car number 33. A drive-through will be because he has exceeded track limits more than 3 times and gained an advantage all of those times. So he's gained an advantage by breaking track limits on 3 occasions, and he's now got a drive-through penalty. So he's gone from battling for 1st to 5th to 3rd, and now after a drive-through penalty, he'll probably find himself down in 6th or 7th.
I mean, that shall make it to the podium.
It looks that way so far. It does look that way so far.
I do not want to put a curse on.
No, I think I'm right in saying that Bart had a drive-through penalty in either the first 2 races at Silverstone or last week as well.
Someone had a drive-through last week for speeding in the pit lane, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it must have been Silverstone he had to drive through for track limits, and yes, he did, because I remember actually, yes, thinking back now, he did have a drive-through penalty, and it was pretty much like after about 4 laps, because I was very surprised that he got it for track limits so early on. So he's served that now, and now it means he's come out in 5th position, 6th position. So yeah, he's got work to do, and Balseely, Ingle, Humphreys, Bicurious and Foster, all the cars ahead of him are pretty quick, so he's going to have a heck of a job getting back through.
Seems like the front two have kind of drove away slightly.
Yeah, I think they've definitely had more consistent pace than the cars behind. But we've seen both Humphreys, Ingle, Balseely and Tonks, they've all made mistakes. And that's been the key factor, I guess, isn't it, in that these guys haven't.
Yeah, I suppose you can see, this is where it separates. I suppose people obviously don't mean it in a mean way, but I mean it separates the people who've got good consistency versus people who slightly struggle with consistency. Yeah, absolutely, and it's, again, it's not meant in a nasty way, as we say. Like, I struggle hugely with consistency in our touring car league. I think like over one lap, I'm definitely one of the quickest, but over the races, I've struggled and often finish 4th or 5th because of that. So we're not saying it in a derogatory way in any way, shape or form. And I've often finished last because of my consistency as well, so I'm definitely not one to speak. So seems like the distance is growing there. Between the two, it's now half a second. Is it growing slightly there? Oh no, it's closed down now. Yeah, it seems to be to and fro in a bit, depending on what section of the track they're on. I think it's easier for him to follow in some sections than others, and that'll all be down to the types of corners, I guess, isn't it? I think I've lost you. You got me? Oh wait, I've got you back now. Yeah. I think I lost you for a second. Sorry. Yeah, I was just saying it'll to and fro depending on the types of corners. Like the slow corners and the fast corners will all have a different influence on how the car behind is performing in the dirty air. So he'll to and fro depending on what part of the circuit they're on, I guess. That makes sense. So how much of a difference can setup make? So obviously, if you look at Adam, who's first now, what is going to be a major difference between setup from Adam, who's in first, to a BMW who's further back? It's understanding all the finer details really around camber and toe, the suspension, spring rates and rebound rates, and it goes into a lot of detail, and the guys who put the time in are the ones who are able to really fine-tune the car to the point where you're getting consistent fast lap times, whereas a poorer setup, you might hook it up for one lap, but it's hard to get the car to perform consistently lap after lap. So I'd be able to match the lap time over one lap maybe as a fluke, but the next lap I do would be 3 seconds off the pace. So it's the fine tuning really gives you the consistency more than anything else. That makes sense, because obviously I'm a bit of a novice at ACC, so I'm not too aware of how much of a difference setup can make, because I always race with default setups. Yes. We racing is default setups. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we other than running a one-make championship, running default setups is the closest way to do it, to ensure that all drivers have the same equipment in a way, and not any way to take advantage of having a lot more practice time than others and things like that. But this game is very much centered around the time you put in is what you get back out of it. So that's why they allow full setups on this sort of thing. It does make sense, because at least then if you're going to put the time into it, you can really take advantage of the time you're going to put into it. Yeah, exactly. And I can guarantee the front 5 or 6 drivers are the ones that are really able to put the work in and have got that ability to do so. And as we said, personal circumstances mean not everybody does have that luxury, but the ones that have got that ability to really put the time in and get the setups perfect are the ones that are going to be towards the front. Yeah, it does make sense. So I suppose the front runners will put, how many hours will that be a week, do you reckon, to try and get the car to that point where it is consistent, such as these two up front now we're watching? I'd probably say at least 6 hours. Wow. Probably 6 hours of sim time. Yeah, because I see, obviously, we look at the chat, and all the discussion is always very technical, and I see most drivers every night saying, I'm on now, so you can see you're clearly dedicated to, obviously, ACC and the sim racing. Yeah, absolutely, and that's why this one is a step above, and it requires real commitment, whereas
a lot of people prefer perhaps a more relaxing something like Race Room, where you can just jump on, race, and be reasonably competitive, even if you haven't had that seat time that the others have had. So yeah, it's, you know, swings and roundabouts, isn't it? There's everybody's got different preferences.
Yeah, it's amazing how sim racing, where you sat at home with a PC and whatever setup, you can go to one extreme to the other, where you can hop on and play, to the extreme where you can practice for 6 hours and still not just hop on and play.
Yeah, exactly. So this gap is pretty much still the same. It doesn't look like BQS has got a way past Foster at this point of the race. Oh, he's got a drive-through. He's got a drive-through. He's picked a drive-through up. He's hit the track limits on that chicane again, and he's picked himself up a drive-through. And this is the penultimate lap, so you'll have to go straight into the pits to clear it. And that's it. So he might not even finish on the podium. Oh, what?
So that's going to be inherited by Virtuous.
Yeah. What has he done? He's having to push so hard to keep BQS behind him. He's just made that mistake into the chicane, which is easy to do, but I think he's going to have to serve it now, because this is the penultimate lap. So he's about to start the last lap. Yeah, there he goes, straight into the pits.
Wow.
And BQS takes the lead.
It's a shame, but as you said before, it is just that pushing slightly too hard has bit him a bit.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Leaders on final lap now.
it's the equivalent of you know, making him make a mistake. Really, it's just that rather than just make a mistake and go off track, he's had a drive-through. You know, rather than just sort of going off track and losing a few seconds. So it's kind of double whammy for him, really. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it comes out. So Ash Humphreys up into second place. So that is there he is.
He's on. Suresh is in the pits as well.
Yeah, I was going to say I thought Dominic Ingle was in there, but no, it was Suresh. So Dom up into... Oh, it's going to be close between these two coming out the pits now. Foster coming out. Oh, it's just behind the Bentley. And he's basically got the rest of this lap to try and recover that position and get onto the podium. He's got damage. Look at that front end. I've just noticed. Yeah. So he
where's that damage from?
He must have made that. He must have made a mistake when we saw that gap had come right down. He must have made a mistake. Yeah, and that's what caused it. But yeah, I don't think he's going to have the pace to get past him on this last lap. Oh, that is a big shame for him. But it's those little mistakes that cost you. And here comes Wesley BQS, and he's coming across the line to take another victory after getting a victory last week at Imola.
Leader has finished the race.
He crosses the line and finishes, as we see a car facing the wrong way there.
I was about to say it myself. That really confused me, and I thought I was imagining things.
No, he was definitely facing the wrong way. But yeah, Wesley BQS comes home in first place and picks up another victory. Ash Humphreys comes home in second. Excellent showing from him. He kept his consistency where others made mistakes around him, and he got himself second place. So I think he'll be delighted with that, I would imagine.
I don't like to brag, Mike, but I did say Ash could capitalise on people's mistakes.
You did. So you're doing a better job than me at this, that's for damn sure. Dominic Ingle, there he is in the one and only Bentley, manages to get a podium in the end. Kind of got caught up in a bit of nonsense at the start, but fought his way back and ends up in third, I believe, even though he's showing 6 on there. They've all got messed up. So let me just return to garage, and then I can see. There we go. Adam Foster comes home then in 4th position, which is a bit of a disappointment for him, picking up that drive-through penalty on the penultimate lap. Big mistake with only a lap and a half left. Scott Balsidi in 5th. He was good for that and fought his way back through, kept it clean and got himself into 5th position. Tonks finishing 6th in the end. That'll be a disappointment for him. I thought he was maybe good for a win, and I cursed him down to 6th. Kenneth Bower finishing in 7th position in the end, which I think he'll be pleased with after those first few laps. Prescott in 8th, Stevens in 9th. in the one and only Aston Martin. Weavers in 10th, Shepherd in 11th, and Damien Humphreys in 12th, with Suresh in the end down in 13th, having retired. As I can just see a comment in the chat there from Ash Humphreys saying, "Cheers for all the gifts, guys," which is nice and entertaining. But yeah, entertaining bit of banter there between the drivers. So yeah, we just await now the start of quali for race 2, which will be a 5-minute shootout, basically. So just basically whoever can get the best lap in 5 minutes, which isn't easy to do, and get on the pace immediately. Normally these guys have got 15-20 minutes to get into the groove for qualifying and then set some fast laps towards the end. But this one is just going to be basically, yeah, out you go. You've got 2 laps and that's it, kind of situation. A bit of pressure on the drivers now to get that right.
Definitely. I think it could make for interesting, though. Make it interesting to see what kind of positions people come out in here. It's one of them, do you go for a really fast lap and risk making a mistake, or do you just go and set almost a comfortable lap and make sure you're up in the mid-pack?
Yeah. We saw... sorry.
Green light.
We
Go,
saw
go, go.
at Silverstone for the sprint race there that the second quali, half the drivers didn't even manage to set a lap because they were trying so hard to set a lap, they kept making mistakes. So half the field didn't even manage to set a lap time. So it'd be interesting to see who can set a lap time and who can get it right. So yeah, interesting. 5 minutes ahead. So we'll just skip straight back into the action. Just give you a quick view once again of the table. So this doesn't include the race you've just seen, obviously, but that is from last week. So Foster was leading the championship with Biakiewicz, who just won that race in 4th. I suspect those positions will be swapped. Galanos is missing, so I don't know what happened there because he was in practice, and Tonks finished 6th. So I would expect at the moment, I'm just working it out roughly, Biakiewicz would probably be just ahead of Foster. Not by much, but just ahead nonetheless. So let's head back into it. And get on with quali. So how many drivers do you think are not going to set a lap time then, Luke?
I didn't see Silverstone because obviously I wasn't here for Silverstone, but if you're saying not many set a lap time, maybe could it be a 50-50 split?
It pretty much was at Silverstone, because I honestly questioned at the time on the stream, because I didn't have the information that it was. I thought perhaps it was just a session between the 2 sessions, if you sort of see what I mean, like a practice. Yeah. And I didn't realise it was actually a sprint quali in its own right, because when I saw half the drivers in the pits and unable to set lap times and stuff, I just assumed, oh no, it can't be a proper quali session. But yeah, they're all on it this week. They're all out the pits. They're all going for it. So it's just a question of if people make mistakes. Be interesting to see if Adam can repeat that lap time. I think
it would be interesting. I suppose with Adam's drive-through there, I think Adam will be definitely trying even harder this time to try and secure that win.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be happy about being that far down the order in that race when he was good for a win. And granted, he was sort of forced into an error, but he made a mistake at the end of the day. Which,
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Body work flying across.
Yeah, somebody said the chicane. I think it was a cone, actually.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Somebody hit the cone in the middle of the chicane, so that's when you know you're pushing track limits to the extreme, when you're hitting cones off. So these guys just finishing their out lap now. No, actually, these will be their first flying laps, actually. So let's I'm going to do the return to garage version only so we can see the lap times as they go in. So Big Lewis has managed 29.5. That wouldn't have been good enough for pole in the first session. At the moment it's good enough for pole, but he's the only one who's set a lap time at the moment.
I think it's quite interesting as well with track space, because you can see quite a few people are bunched up together, so I haven't really got the space to have the freedom to really push.
Yeah, absolutely. And considering there's only 12 drivers out there, you'd think they'd be able to give each other enough space. But with it only being a 5-minute session, you can't afford to be too careful, really. You can't afford to spend too much time looking for space. You just kind of got to go for it and hope for the best. So, yeah, Domingo has managed a 29.1. So at the moment, that's got him provisional pole position. If we just jump on with him, so where's he? He is just past. So he is on what will be his last lap, as he has got time to finish this lap. But most drivers will be on their last lap now because the timing screens are finished. I can see Adam Foster is just coming through the final chicane.
I wonder if it'll be a 28 if he breaks into the 28s.
Oh, is it
Nope.
basically almost identical? Oh, there we are. Big Lewis has managed to get into the 28s. Hell of a lap, and he's done. He's not even going for another lap. He's going straight in the pits. So Foster,
happy.
yeah, he's happy with that. That's for damn sure. Foster's managing to get another lap in. So the timer is just about to run down to 0. So anybody who was on a lap will get the opportunity to finish. There are a couple who are just finishing. Balsili currently in 4th, having finished his session. Clenneth is yet to set a time. Where's he? Oh, he's just crossed the finish. Oh, he didn't manage to set a time. So he'll be disappointed.
Only 3 haven't set a time as of yet. Well, in fact, it's going to be 3 unless Weaver sets a lot of time.
Yeah, he's just about to cross the line now. But Tonks hasn't set a time. Oh, that. So Weaver's got himself up to 7th. Yeah. So Weaver's got himself up to 7th. Good lap there. Ash Humphreys is still on his lap. He's got some connection issues, as this car looks like it's roller skating. Don't quite know what's happening there, but definitely some server issues this evening, I think. Because we've seen that from a few cars, haven't we, where they look like they're on ice.
It's almost like, is it the cars with a rear wheel steering wheel? You can just like drift sideways.
It looks a bit like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Ash Humphreys does improve by 4 tenths.
4th.
Yeah, 4 tenths up on his previous session. Yes, so yeah, definitely a bit of glitching going on, for sure, and a bit unusual for ACC. It's normally pretty stable. So we've just got a couple of minutes now before our second sprint race, which will be a 20-minute sprint race. And you can see the details on the calendar there. So race 2, 5-minute shootout quali, and then race 2, 20 minutes. So a lot shorter than the first race, so they'll carry less fuel, which will help the performance, and have to preserve their tyres less as well, I guess, Luke.
Definitely. I think it could be very, very interesting, this race, because we've got a bit of a mix-up. We've also got Adam, who's got a first, and Bakeus, they were battling last time, so that'll be a good battle. And Ingles made it onto a podium within qualifying.
Yeah, I agree, actually, and it'd be interesting to see how far Tonks can come through the field. So, what's your prediction for Tonks?
Ooh, so he's starting last, but he's got the pace. So I reckon he could end up, 7th, because I reckon we could see a few mistakes from drivers pushing that bit too hard.
Yeah, definitely is a possibility, but he's been one to do that himself, mind. We've seen that with the drive-through penalty. I think he ended up way down the order, didn't he? 6th or 7th in the end.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, so he's prone to the odd mistake himself. So I'm very much looking forward to this one. See how it goes. Yeah, what I want more than anything, and I mean, he's a dear friend. I really want Damien Humphreys to get through this race without somebody hitting the back of him and take him out. I'm not biased. I'm not saying, oh, let's let him win the race or nothing like that. But he's a dear friend, and I really want him to get through this race without somebody tagging the back of him, and sending him sending him flying. So we are at Zolder today. So just another view of the track map there for you guys, so you can see where we are racing, and what the drivers have got to contend with those 3 chicanes, which can be very, very challenging for the drivers, particularly their 3 heavy braking zones, and it's the braking zones and the traction zones that make you racing for sure. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I think a sprint race around here, short 20 minutes, should be action-packed with plenty of overtakes. That's what we want to see. We missed about 3 overtakes in that first race because we were in the wrong place at the wrong time, but that is unfortunately what happens at times. So, yeah, let us see how it goes. So, come on then, give us your predictions as they start this warm-up lap. Who's going to win?
Oh, I'm going to put my money on Foster, Adam Foster. I think he's gonna do it this time. I think he's gonna be determined after the last race getting a driver. I think he's gonna be determined to prove a point this time.
He's gonna make up for his previous mistake and go for the victory. I wondered if he had the overall pace. Fair play, he's got himself pole position there again, so he clearly has got that consistency in him. I think Wes Beakuse's race pace did look a little stronger, though. I think. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely looks a bit stronger. But I suppose where I'm gaining a bit of confidence with Adam is we seen on the last race just there. Adam's really brave with his moves, so I think if it's last lap and Adam's got the opportunity, I think he'll grab it with both hands.
Yeah. So let's see. Excellent qualifying from Weavers. Got to say, really good lap there. Got himself a 7th position. Clenneth and Tonks, the 2 Dutchmen there at the back, unable to set a lap time in qualifying. So they will both start in 10th and 11th. They, if anyone, will be the big movers, particularly Bart Tonks in our BMW, who is very, very quick. But getting through a 20-minute race cleanly and making up positions, that's not going to be easy for him, is it?
Definitely not. You've got good traffic to fight with, and if you're such a faster driver than others, it's sometimes hard to get past them slower drivers.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on him and see how he gets on, and hopefully we'll see lots of juicy overtakes and stuff for us to comment on. But generally the racing seemed nice and clean and fair in that race. A little spread out for my liking, but that's how it goes sometimes. But we had a good battle at the front, so hopefully we'll have the same in this one.
Definitely. I was just thinking to myself, also same with the slower drivers. Even me, I am one of the slower drivers. I always like to give faster drivers a bit of a challenge to get past me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's something, if you are a slower driver or a backmarker or a midfielder, you can't make it easy for these guys and just get out of the way. You've got to battle them. Not if you're blue flagged, obviously. That's another story.
No.
But in general, yeah, you've got to make their life hard. That's for damn sure. All right. So we are just coming round to the final chicane now, which will mean the start of the race. So we're just going to jump onto the helicam. So again, we can see as much detail as possible for this race start. It's a rolling start in GT cars, not a standing start like you have in Formula 1 and touring cars. So they are holding a speed of 45 miles an hour, I think it is, off the top of my head, and then they will get the green flag and go. And then it is. They've got the green light. This foot flat to the floor, and down to the first corner we go. And Foster still in the lead. Dominic Engel trying to go up the inside of Beakuse, and he makes the move stick into the first corner, which also forces Ash Humphreys wide, and Balsili's managed to get himself up into 4th position. Beakuse getting a bit tied up there with Balsili. Balsili forced wide, and then Ash Humphreys gaining another position as well there. So he is up into 4th. Humphreys has managed to get himself up into 5th position with Balsili in 6th. So a good couple of moves on that opening few corners from Damien Humphreys. Prescott up into 7th, Weavers down into 8th, Stevens into 9th, Kenneth Bower and Tonks having a good old battle there for 10th and 11th, and Shepherd currently down in 12th. So we just rejoined the lead now to see if Dominic Ingle can battle Foster for the lead of this race. Both will be disappointed with those first races. Mistakes really cost them both positions in the end, and I think they'll both be chomping at the bit to do better in this one. Do you think, Luke?
Definitely, I think they'll both be desperate just to try and make that bit of an improvement, keep that consistency and try and get the win.
Yeah, consistency is key, especially on a hardcore sim such as this one. But be curious, who qualified second, clearly making a mistake in those first few corners, and Dominic Ingle really took advantage of that, didn't he, and managed to get up the inside going into this corner here.
Definitely, he's almost separating the two fighting siblings almost.
Yeah, indeed. So just keeping a close eye, just making sure. Yeah, so Ash Humphreys again is currently still in 4th, keeping Balseely in the BMW at bay at the moment. Prescott in 6th, he's doing well so far. Still a long way to go in this race. We've only had one fully completed lap, but Prescott and Weavers in 6th and 7th doing a stellar job so far. Tonks has made progress. He's managed to get himself up into 8th position. Let's keep an eye on him now. He's super close to Weavers. Can he make a move going down into the chicane cleanly and get through? No, he has to back out of it. Takes a different line through here. Weavers makes a mistake. Oh, and he's going to lose 2 positions there, as a very cheeky Stevens in the Aston Martin says, "Thanks, mate. I'll have one of those as well," and gets himself a position from Weavers. So a little mistake there, and Tonks gets himself up into 7th. So he's got 2 seconds now to catch up to Prescott in front. So we'll keep an eye on him as we go through. Oh, Humphreys has made a mistake somewhere, because he's showing now in 10th. Oh yeah, he's got loads of damage. So I don't know what's happened there, but he was running 5th and is now down in 10th. So my wishes for my good friend have not come true, I'm afraid. But him and Kleineth are currently in 10th and 11th. So Foster still ahead of Ingle, still ahead of Bikuis, still ahead of Humphreys. Those are your top 4, although there is a bit of a gap back to Humphreys. So you've got these 3 really battling it out for the lead. Oh, he's showing his hand. He's popping out into the side mirrors there and saying, "Take a look, mate. I'm coming for you." So we come down now into the second chicane. A really difficult braking zone, because it's not straight. You're just coming off a left-hander, and you've got to get on the brakes in a straight line, not to lose the back end, and get through that chicane unscathed. It's not an easy task, that is for sure. Nobody quite looks like making a move at this point, Luke, do you think?
No, not yet. It might just be my opinion, but I could almost see Ingle holding up Bikuis. I think Bikuis is a bit more desperate to try and get past Ingle than Ingle is trying to get past Foster, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's quite possible. I mean, we know Bikuis had a lot of race pace in that first race, and he pressured Foster right the way through. It doesn't appear like he's putting that same pressure on Ingle at this point, does it?
No.
So
A couple of corners ago, he looked like he was. I don't know if you can flash your lights in the ACC, but it did appear he was flashing his lights.
Yeah,
so it looked like he's flashing his lights before. Ooh.
There's a couple of little mistakes from Foster there through those first few corners. He's just getting the lines a little bit wrong. He's feeling the pressure of those 2 cars behind him, that is for sure. We can see that live in front of our very eyes. You can see the pressure the driver's going through. Let us jump on with Wesley Bikuis so we can see how it looks in front of him with those 2 cars. You can see they're, as you said earlier, very aggressive on that second curb in that chicane, mate.
Definitely very aggressive. You can see Bikuis is really trying.
So you can see the braking zone I was on about there. It's very difficult to get that right, especially when you've got cars in front of you. You can sometimes misjudge it, and we did see an accident in race 1 into that chicane with Humphreys and Shepherd, which does happen, unfortunately. So another heartbreaking zone.
Almost like watching BQ stalk his prey almost. You can see he's waiting for that opportunity.
Yeah, I think he's sitting back and looking after his tyres a little bit at the moment, because he's not putting the pressure on the front two that he did in the first race. So whether he's waiting for one of them to make a mistake, or perhaps thinking that they're going to hold each other up by battling, maybe.
I would definitely do the same thing, because why put the pressure on when Ingle can put the pressure on Foster for you? Why put the pressure on Ingle? Let Ingle do his own race, I suppose.
Yeah, very true. So you can just see the gap is about the same between the front two and the second and third from that. Oh, that late brake there from Ingle just compromised his exit, and that gave BQS a little bit of impetus through that corner. I thought we might have had a move on them, but he's just managed to sort out that big Bentley just in time. Are we going to see a move down into the chicane from the Dutch driver behind? No, and he just thinks better of it. Yeah, very aggressive again on that chicane. But these cars can take the punishment, unlike touring cars where the suspension will probably snap into 60 pieces. As of me,
you can see Foster's now got that bit more breathing room. That bit more breathing room by that mistake, I think, by Ingle.
Yeah, it'll just hopefully allow him to, well, hopefully for his sake, allow him just to settle into it a bit and find his rhythm and not feel that pressure. But that gap is coming back down again. It's 6/10 between first and second, and between second and third. So they're all following each other pretty closely, and you can see the pace these guys got, because Ash Humphreys is already 4.5 seconds behind, pretty much losing a second a lap to these guys, which is a lot of pace, especially for somebody who picked up second place in the first race.
Definitely, you can see was pretty equal distance then before entry to that corner.
Oh, little twitch there from the Bentley, and not smooth, fast but not smooth, these front three, that is for sure. You can see they're really pushing the cars, and that's what I mean by not smooth, in that they're really pushing those rear tyres to the limit, and you can see the back ends twitching now and again, and the pressure's definitely on. All three of them want the win, and none of them can afford to make a mistake.
Definitely, I don't like saying it, but I do think it will be a mistake. I don't like saying it, but I think it will be at some point. You can see it really pushing, and you can only push so hard for so long.
A mistake could make the difference, and I'm sure, and there's one, just as we say it, so that'll be one ping for track limits for Dominic Ingle. And we saw from Adam Foster in the first race, you do not want to do that 3 times, because you will get a drive-through penalty, and that will cost you around about 30 seconds. Which cost Adam Foster the victory in the first race just moments ago. But this second race so far, he's kept his composure out in front. He's under a lot of pressure from 2 very quick drivers, but so far he's doing the job.
You can see Ash lurking in the background behind these 3 drivers, actually.
Yeah.
As it pans out, so you can see him working.
Yeah, he is there, and he's unable to make much noise. In fact, he's lost another 7/10 on that last lap. So yeah, he's in the 130s with it in the low 129s. Balsillie actually lapping quicker than Ash Humphreys at the moment, so a good chance he may well close that gap in the final 10 minutes of this sprint race. Tonks has got himself up into 6th position, so he's a few seconds behind Prescott now. Not Prescott, sorry, Balsillie. Excuse me. And yeah, he's made good progress though, considering he started in 12th. We knew he had the pace. He could not get a lap in qualifying, but he's made a decent start to this. So he's got 10 minutes left now to see if he can close down to perhaps Ash Humphreys and Balsillie, but I wouldn't imagine any more than that would be possible at this stage.
We are halfway through.
He's carved his way through the field very well. Better than I expected. I didn't expect to be this high this soon.
Yeah, he's done really well, and in a short race. I mean, we just passed the halfway mark, as the the pit guy has just told me. So made very good progress for such a short period of time. But you can't afford to be too conservative when you've only got 20 minutes to race. So just keeping an eye on. Sorry, yeah, I was just going to say, just keeping an eye on Prescott and Stevens. They're pretty close together as well. I wonder whether the Aston might have a move on here against the Merc. Both single entries in terms of makes. One Merc, one Aston Martin this season. And, he's there or thereabouts. We'll keep an eye on that battle and see if Stevens can make any progress into that as this race goes on. So Weaver's in 9th and driving a little bit of a lonely race at the moment, but he's got Shepherd not too far behind him, so I'm sure he'll want to keep it clean and keep that position. And then Clenneth down in last place again, and that's really struggling. Not managing to be consistent. He's proven he's got one lap pace, I think. We saw in quali, didn't we? But he's definitely not got the consistency so far this season, and I'm sure he's frustrated.
Definitely, it's not easy when you're lacking pace and you know you've got more in the locker.
Yeah, so I can feel his frustration through the screen, and I'm sure he's probably screaming into his steering wheel at the moment. But, just rejoining this front three, and it's pretty much status quo. Just check it out, Ash Humphreys has again dropped another second to these guys, so these guys are all rapid. These front three, they're all battling each other. And I just want to say fair play to Dominic Ingle for being able to get that kind of performance out of that big Bentley. A little mistake there from Foster. I don't know if that's going to cost him, but he's just kicking up a little bit of dust coming out of that second corner.
You can see Birkus is putting up a bit more pressure on Ingle now.
Yeah, they do look at that a little bit closer together, don't they? Yeah, they're all so close together. It can't be easy, particularly I would say for Birkus, because he's got sort of double turbulence from the two cars in front, which will really be affecting his front end. So not easy for him to keep pace with these guys. So I think that proves he's probably the quickest guy out there, actually.
Definitely.
But just suffering from underperformance due to the nature of having that dirty air around him.
And as you said before as well, Ingle will be adjusting to Adam's braking points, and then Birkus will have to be adjust to Ingle's as well, which all slows each other down.
Yeah, exactly. It's a kind of domino effect, really, isn't it? It just the guy who's got it easiest, despite being despite being under real pressure, is Adam Foster, because he's got that clean air and the ability to pick his braking zones and not have to worry about what somebody in front of him is doing.
Definitely. It's just, I suppose, it's either been less pressure but more pressure to keep your nose clean, or the pressure of being first and keeping two cars behind you.
Yeah, so you can see there, these guys are doing 29 flats in race trim. Granted, it's a short race, you know, but yeah, they're doing 29 flats in race trim, which is absolutely rapid. So I'm not sure Adam is actually holding them up, because I think that's probably about the limit of what these guys are capable of in race trim. I think it's just they all lap in the same time.
Gaining nothing on each other, just felt like a train almost.
They're just all rapid, basically. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. They're just all super fast.
Too fast.
Yeah, too fast for me. That's why I'm in the comments box.
Seems like Ingle is getting that bit closer to Adam Foster there.
Yeah, I think you are right. He's definitely right on the back end of him there. A little kick of dust out of the chicane. And this is a lovely part of the circuit, because you've got that really fast right and left hander, and then down in this heavy braking zone. He's trying to have a look, isn't he?
He is. I'm getting all excited to keep going, ooh, down the mic.
Yeah, he's definitely getting a bit more interested in the back end of that BMW. He wants a win for that Bentley. He's been close to victory a few times this season, particularly last week, which obviously we had that silly accident with the blue flags, but I think he could have taken victory last week, but didn't have the pace in the first race, but he's definitely got the pace in this second race.
I can see Ingle coming out on top here, actually. I'd changed my mind here. I think Ingle could just apply that bit more pressure to Adam, and I think it could start to crumble slightly.
We're going to have 3 more laps after this one, I think, by my calculations, roughly. So, let's see what we get.
We'll soon find out.
We certainly will. one way or another. Like I say, what's good to see is that nobody's made a big mistake. Sorry, I can't get my words out then. So it is just coming down to the quality of the driving and nothing else at the moment.
It's getting closer, yeah.
Yeah, even BQS is a lot closer to Ingle now, so they're just to and fro in.
I think it could be one of them where it's just close, but it just remains the same. I think, could be a good point of being scared to make the move, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is, I mean, their last 3 laps, they've all done pretty much a 29 flat. So, I mean, unless one of them does make a mistake, you know, it's just going to stay as it is. So, in terms of the entertainment factor, we want a mistake.
Definitely.
But at the same time, as long as there's close, fair racing as well, you know, that's all well and good. Yeah, 29.2, 29.3, 29.3. So Foster slightly faster with that clean air to be expected.
That is ridiculously close.
Yeah, ridiculously fast and ridiculously close. So a good combination to have in GT racing. We don't always get this close action, particularly in the endurance races. It's usually a lot more spread out, but yeah, these guys are able to match each other lap for lap at the moment.
We've got a long endurance race next week, haven't we?
Yeah, a very, very long endurance race, I believe, and I can't remember how long it is. 2 hours, I think it is, something like that.
Something like that. Far more hours than I could concentrate on driving for.
Yeah, I think it's either 2 or 2.5 hours, somewhere around there anyway. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that because it'll be again a different kind of endurance, a long endurance as opposed to short endurance, really. So it'll add a bit more spice into things and require a bit more and a bit of something different from the drivers. That's for sure.
Definitely, and I like the different formats. Even for a commentary standpoint, is a different format each week. Makes it fresh for us, I suppose, as well.
It does, yeah, and different driving styles, different cars suit different things as well. So it'll be. I'll be keen to see how the different drivers and different cars react to the different.
Is this a move? Is this a move?
Oh, yeah. I think Foster did make a mistake out that last chicane, but he has got the inside line. But if Ingle can hold it, he couldn't.
Oh no.
If he could have held it, he would have had the inside line for this corner, but he just could not keep on to it. But Foster makes another mistake there, and that's allowed the two of them to close back up again. They're so close. This is the penultimate lap.
Oof, this is getting close now. Ingle almost lost out by making that move.
Yeah, he did. But he had to go for it.
You've got to be in it to win it.
Exactly.
I'm coming out with all the cliches tonight.
We love a cliche, that's for sure. But yeah, it doesn't look like much is changing here. I'm just going to have a quick flick through the field to make sure if there are any battles. Everyone's pretty spread out, so it's still, these guys are the premier battle on track at the moment. So they are going to get one more roll of the dice. Ingle, looked like Ingle running a little wide there. Ingle and BQS have got one more roll at the dice, and
this BQS going for something? No, just threatening.
Yeah, he's just having a little look. I think he's just reminding him he's there. Although I'm sure he's well aware. Just seeing blue flags being waved there, but none of these are the back marks, so don't worry about that. I think that's just an ACC glitch.
The leader is on the final lap. Maybe the final push.
Yeah, final lap, this is it. So, Foster from Ingle from BQS. We've had this pretty much from lap 1. So we are on the final lap now. And really, really interested to see if anybody can make a move stick. But you can see Ingle's drop now. He's nearly a second back on Foster, so he's made a mistake. And that's cost BQS time as well. So if Foster can just keep it clean, I think he's pretty much got this wrapped up now.
Definitely, I think we could see some final corner action, I think.
The question now is, can BQS get second? Can he get past? A bit of a jump off that
Bounces
chicane
over
that time.
curb.
Yeah, a proper bounce. He looks keen. Is he going to make a move? Oh, he was so close there. How did he not hit the back of him into that braking zone? Superb driving, fair play. That takes
excellent.
It takes some real skill to get that right. But
I can't imagine the pressure Ingles feeling with that big BMW badge in his rear view.
yeah, he's used to it though. He's a seasoned pro, but I think he's just about managed to hold him off. So I think the most relieved man on this circuit, if he crosses the finish line, not that I want to curse him with 2 corners to go, but if he does manage to get through this unscathed, it'll be big relief from Adam Foster after the huge disappointment in that first race a few moments ago. He crosses the line in first place. Dominic Engel again gets in a much better finishing position in second. Bierkowitz with a very respectable third place and podium after winning the first race, and those 3 battled right through. Ash Humphreys manages to get himself into 4th position, a very respectable finish for him. Why he's in the gravel, I do not know. Balsili 5th again. I think he was 5th in the first race as well. So another good solid race from him. Tonks with fastest lap and gets himself from last up into 6th. So a stellar drive from the Dutchman. Stevens finishes in 7th in the only Aston Martin. Prescott in 8th. Really good finish from him in the Mercedes. Shepherd, Boa and Weavers are all still racing each other. So Shepherd is currently, if the camera catches up, in 9th, Clenneth Boa 10th, Weavers 11th, but I think that is how they are going to finish, as we just see them come up towards the finish line. Oh, Clenneth's taking a bit of a shortcut there. That's not the racing line there, Clenneth. That's
Trip to the beach.
Yeah. And so I hope he took his sunscreen with him there. And yeah, he comes over in 10th. Weavers in 11th. Humphreys in 12th as a retiree again, unfortunately. And Suresh looks like he didn't even start that second race, which is a bit of a shame. So bear with us. I'm just going to switch over to the post-race interview, so I'm just going to end this call with us and pop into the interview. So pop into there, Dougie, and we'll catch up in there.
Yeah, we'll do.
We are just dialing through, hoping that some of the drivers will be able to join us in a moment. So we're just waiting for the drivers to connect. Hopefully they'll be with us in a moment. So here we go. I'm just switching over. So we're going to start with the race winner from race 2, Adam Foster. He is our first driver we're talking to. Welcome, Adam.
Welcome. Hello.
You can't say
How
welcome
was it
to me.
for...
It's my street.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, welcome.
So we'll start with race 2. Stellar drive, mate, and lots of pressure from the 2 very capable drivers behind you as well.
Yeah, Dominic and Wesley behind me. I had Wesley behind me in the first race, but mistakenly got the drive through. But second race, yeah, I was like less than a second most of the race round with Dom behind me, so tough. I'm not a great fan of Zolder at the best of times, but yeah, enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've got to take you back and talk about race 1.
Yeah.
I'm sure you don't want to talk about it.
Not really.
But I'm from what we could tell in the comms box, there was a lot of pressure from behind, and that forced the track limit mistake.
Yeah, I had 2 limits within the first 10 minutes, I think, because Wes was pushing me, and then yeah, just he caught back up really close at the end and just cut that chicane that little bit too much.
Yeah.
That first chicane, the one you have to fly over, yeah, just a little bit too much that one last time. Yeah. Drive through.
I think overall you've got to be pretty pleased though. A victory, not easy, and obviously you've got double points available for these sprint races in effect because you've got the 2 races, so got to be pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, I was, like I said, a little bit disappointed with race 1, but yeah, race 2 was good points. I should still be quite a gap in the lead now.
Yeah, that is very true. So we're just going to bring in, I think we got, is it Wesley as well we've got in the chat here?
Yeah, sure. Here we are again.
Welcome, my
Yeah,
friend. Just want to say congratulations on the victory in race one. I know obviously it was as the result of Adam's drive-through, but it was your pressure and your consistency behind him that forced that mistake, I felt.
yeah. Thank you very much. And yeah, I put the pressure on Adam. I knew he got uh, two warnings already. So, and I like to keep the pressure up and not drive in front of Adam because he pushed me under pressure and I make mistakes. So yeah, it was a great race, just like the second one, and I could just follow the guys and hope they make a mistake, but if not, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say, the three of you, your race pace in that second race, you were doing pretty much 29 flats or thereabouts for lap after lap. I mean, you were all rapid, but you were all matching each other's pace, so there was no real opportunity to overtake. But it was great to watch. It was a good to take part.
Yeah, yeah, it was awesome. But I could overtake after the chicane because I take that chicane as Parijs Dakar, and the Bentley could not do that. So I came in 2/10 after the chicane,
Yeah, yeah.
if you know what I mean.
Yes, you could see. I mean, you were faster in some sections, but I
Yeah,
think you definitely had the pace in that last race. But with the turbulent air from two cars in front of you, I think it was difficult for you to really show how much pace you had. But that's
yeah,
testament to Dominic and Adam being that much faster as well in front of you to keep you behind. So. But
yeah.
well done, a win and a podium. You must be very very pleased.
Yes, again podium. Yeah, it never happened before, but yeah, I'm getting the feeling of this game.
Yeah, I think you'll both be fighting for the championship, you two. I just wanted to ask a quick question. I don't know if Adam you'll have the answer to this. What happened to Galanos? Because he was in the practice session and then disappeared. So
Oh, was he? Because I didn't see him in the practice session. But
yeah, he was definitely in
there
there because
was.
when I joined, I could see him. But
Oh, okay then. I did get messages saying that he's got work stuff
okay,
going on, so he couldn't
fair
make
enough.
it tonight.
I
Same
just
with Ingle as well. We had work stuff, but managed to jump in just before the end of qualifying on the first race.
no, that's fair enough. I wondered whether there was something else because because I saw him in the practice session. If you sort of see what I mean. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
there was a bit of glitching on the server. There's a couple of cars that looked like they were on ice skates.
Oh, okay.
So I wondered whether there was a connection issue or something like that. But no,
No, I think that's my server. I think I need to update it and find a bit better server somehow.
it happens. Overall,
Yeah.
mostly it was fine. It was just the odd car now and again. Doug, you got any questions for the gents before we wrap this up?
I suppose it was great racing to watch. Obviously, you three following each other around. I was just going to say, how much pressure did you feel, Adam, when you were leading the two cars hunting you down all race?
Oh, a lot, because I was a little bit worried I weren't going to be at the front, but the qualifying laps, last lap of the whole qualifying, I got pole on both races, which was awesome for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, having Wes behind me, I know how they both race, which takes a little bit of the nerves away, because I know, like, Wes nearly hit me once, Dom nearly hit me once, but I didn't go off my line because I knew they weren't going to make contact with me, because I could trust them drivers, so it eases the nerves a little bit, but yeah, there's always nerves when you're leading the race and got two quick guys right behind you.
I can imagine, but well done on your victory on that race too. It was great by holding your nerve, I suppose.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, gentlemen. Thanks again to Dougie for joining me in the comms box. We're going to call an end to proceedings there. We will be back next week, and we will be at our long endurance race at one of my favourite places on earth, the Nürburgring.
Yeah, it's one of my favourites as well.
It's Mike Bullen's Disneyland, that is. So he's very much looking forward to that. And we will see you then. And thank you so much for joining us on the stream. And thanks to the drivers and my co-commentator Dougie. I've been Bullen FN2, and we'll see you next time.